Hello, and welcome to Getting Geeky. We've got the great Ellen and Frosty.
How you doing?
Today we're talking Christmas movies. There are so many great ones, so many terrible ones, so many so bad that they're good ones. And we're just going to talk about what we like, what we don't like, and what makes a good Christmas movie, as well as the great debate of Die Hard, Iron Man 3, and Nightmare Before Christmas movies or not.
Okay.
Let's kick straight off with favorite Christmas movies. Let's go to Ellen first with her wonderful fireplace. Obviously, if you're listening to this on your podcasting services, you can't see this. But if you would like to see it and get involved as we are doing these live, come over to YouTube, GeekyN8 show, and you can interact every month when we do these live. Otherwise, enjoy listening at home on whichever services you've got, or out on the street if you're doing it that way.
Even
Ellen.
if you're taking a nice spongy bubble bath.
That is a great place to listen to podcasts.
I listen to a lot of podcasts in the shower and in like the bath. So
yeah, make sure you have a Chardonnay poured in your little champagne glass and some candles, scented candles lit up, opera music playing in the background, sitting in your bubble bath. Yeah. You know,
sorry, that was
I'm talking too much out of experience here. I mean, I'll just be quiet.
Yeah, we had a slight interruption from my family, but they're gone now.
It's all fine.
So yeah, I'm in my most old-fashioned looking room because that's where we've put most of our Christmas decorations in this old drafty house. So that's why, hence the fire. You can see the fire if you're watching the fire. But yeah, in terms of favorite Christmas film, I feel like a lot of people, my favorite Christmas film is Muppets Christmas Carol, just because it's like top to bottom, head to toe, brilliant. Just very funny, very charming, very like true to the spirit of the original story. But also Michael Caine takes it very seriously. You'd swear he was going for an Oscar the way he is just dead serious through this whole film. While his co-stars are Muppets. And I would have said that Michael Caine is a good actor. I wouldn't have said he was like one of the best actors of all time. But I feel like the fact that he was able to take it so seriously alongside literal puppets. I think Oscar for Michael Caine. Let's get him one for this, like retroactively.
You know, I can't disagree with any of that. It is such a great film. And yeah,
I haven't watched Muppets Carol, Christmas Carol, in my opinion. Well, ever since I was a kid, like 5-6 years old. So the memories of that is quite vague. But as far as I can remember, I do agree with Ellen here.
It's one of those things that you watch as a child and you love because it's very funny. And then you still appreciate it as you get older because like there's a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah, it's in our to watch every year. On note of A Christmas Carol and how great a story it is, obviously you've got Muppets version, then there's Scrooged.
Seminal.
There's the various A Christmas Carol mini-series that have cropped up over the years. Would you say that Muppets is your favorite version of A Christmas Carol?
I think there was like I can't remember. I think it was just called A Christmas Carol. There was a version with Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet that was very good as well. That was like an animated version.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like if I'm going to watch A Christmas Carol, it's not like a play version of it because I think a play version is always like nicer in Christmas. Yeah. But if I'm going to watch a film of it, it's going to be the Muppets. Like I'm always going to opt for the Muppets.
Yeah, absolutely. We watched Scrooged recently, and that's a really great version because you've got them trying to sell up and film A Christmas Carol live while the TV show host is going through those exact events and being met by the ghost. And I just love that like meta aspect to it. But there's nothing beats a Muppets Christmas Carol. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, it's just fun for the whole family, and that's what Christmas is all about.
So Frosty, what about you? I'd assume
Um,
that South Africa probably has its own separate collection of movies as well, so there might be some stuff that we've never heard of.
Actually, it's quite similar to as far as I know, it's quite similar to anywhere else in the world. There's as Alan said, there's the Christmas Carol by the Muppets. There's the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and blah 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 blah. All those lovely Christmas films. I would say my favorite is one I've watched rather recently that my kid fell in love with. That we watched before Christmas because Netflix somehow decided, hey, let's recommend this, even though Christmas is still like 7-8 months away.
Classic.
Like what the fuck, Netflix? Also, to add to Zephyri's comment here in the YouTube chat, Elf is overrated. Never watched it, so I cannot say
You've
if
never
it is
watched
overrated.
Elf?
Great.
Oh, that needs fixing. Elf is a great film.
Wait, is Elf the
Love Elf.
one
I
with
just
is Elf the
rewatched it.
one with Will Ferrell?
Have to say, big fan of Elf.
yeah,
You're
it
entitled to your
does-
own opinion, but I'm entitled to send the police after you for an opinion like that.
But was it Will Ferrell that played in Elf, or I
Yes.
can't remember. Oh, then I have watched it when I was like 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it's surprisingly
I-
old Elf.
Yeah. What was it? 2000?
Okay,
No.
yeah, 2006,
Starring
2003.
starring Peter
2003.
Dinklage, which I've totally forgotten about.
2003. There we go.
Yeah.
Anyways, but the favorite Christmas movie that I've enjoyed, and I have unfortunately been forced to watch it like 6-7 times a day. It's actually The Grinch from 2018, the animated one.
The animated one.
It's lighthearted.
Mm.
It has some comedy in it. It gives that whole like Christmas spirit. Well, it builds up to the message of the Christmas spirit being so important during the holiday season, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just really love it. And one of the things I love about the movie is that Benedict Cumberbatch plays the protagonist, and he does his role oh so well. And the fact that Pharrell Williams is the narrator in the movie, with
Oh
this
my
like
God.
whole soothing voice over all the little poems he throws across, like almost like he reads it out of Dr. Seuss's book. I just loved it from start to finish.
Oh, that's so good. I haven't actually seen that recent one, but
I
you kinda got me
would give you a definite recommend to that, Ellen. It's
Thank you.
absolutely lovely.
And what's people's opinions of the Jim Carrey one?
Oh, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Infinitely memeable.
I loved it, yeah.
Very nostalgic.
However, my parents did not like it because they feel like Jim Carrey is one of those like hyper silly actors, but I love Jim Carrey. I'm a big fan of his work.
Big fan of Jim.
Absolutely, which is also why I was concerned about him being Robotnik in the Sonic films. But that's a separate story for a separate time.
But I mean, he has done the Robotnik quite well. I have watched Sonic, the first Sonic movie, quite recently actually, and he did it absolutely stunning job of Robotnik. He did that whole like crazy characteristic that Robotnik has, and he just took it to a whole new level.
Yes, I absolutely agree, and I'm loving the fact that in the Sonic 2 trailer he's looking a little bit more like the Robotnik of the games as well.
Yeah, with the bald head, big ass mustache.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Anyway, back to the Christmas movie. So for me, I mean, every year we always will watch Home Alone 1 and 2. The new Home Alone, really good, but I think, to be honest, after watching it this year, because it's only just come out this year, 8-Bit Christmas might have taken top spot for me for Christmas films.
Ooh.
So I highly recommend it. You have to ignore some of the 80s aspects to it, because I mean, in the film anyway, he's like, oh, it was 1985. His daughter corrects him, and he changes it and just goes late 80s. It's just the late 80s, but it is great. It's all about basically this boy who really wants a Nintendo for Christmas, as does his friends. The rich kid on their street has a Nintendo, and everybody's just like fighting to try and go and play at his house, which is just basically sit and watch him play and be a jerk. And it's just this whole like tale of how they try to get a Nintendo, and it's just basically telling this, well, just basically one of your classic Christmas stories. You know, you want something, but Christmas isn't really about what you get; it's about the family part and all of that. So yeah, I really like it, and I think the best way I can describe it is it's like a combination of a Christmas story with Jingle All the Way. That's basically what the film is. It's those two combined, and it is just brilliant. So yeah, I highly recommend that. That's on Now TV in the UK, HBO Max in the US, and I have no idea what options are available for you, Frosty.
Why am I not surprised? Oh boy. Yeah, but I would like to add to Geeky's message about it. It's not all about the gifts that you receive on Christmas. It's all about the time spent with family, and it's more about the feeling that you should have on the day rather than the possessions you receive.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, especially if you since we've all kind of had a rough couple of years because of reasons. And last year especially, I wasn't able to come home for Christmas. I was stuck in London for Christmas. So I'm extra appreciating getting to be cozy and at home with the family this year.
Yeah, that must be
So
nice.
I think that's the message, is just to enjoy the coziness of Christmas as much as you can, because we finally have an excuse during the year to kind of indulge in it a bit.
Enjoy the vibes of the day. Eat yourself into half a coma. Probably get a stroke or heart attack with all the cholesterol of the meals, But it's all good because it's Christmas.
Oh yeah, this year we've decided basically normally we don't spend too much money on Christmas food, and this year we've gone, what's the point? Let's just get whatever the hell we want. Let's just have a good time. So hiding behind me is a meter-long box of Oreos, which I'm looking forward to.
Meter-long box. Holy fuck. Yeah. Okay, I need to Google how much plane tickets to UK are right fucking now.
I mean, you can just see it in the corner here. But so yeah, we've got that. I've got, bags of various nuts and all kinds of snacks. So it's going to be a good time. Over here we celebrate Boxing Day. I'm pretty sure you've got Boxing Day in South Africa, haven't you, Frosty? Am I imagining that?
We have those bulk boxes with a whole bunch of packets in, but not meter-long boxes.
No.
The day after Christmas.
The day after Christmas, the 26th. Is that a day that you celebrate?
We know it as a public holiday called Boxing Day.
Yes, that's right. So I guess that's
we call it St. Stephen's Day in Ireland.
Ah, okay.
And I refuse to say Boxing Day.
See, my running joke for all of the American viewers is that on Boxing Day, it's the day that we all have to get in a ring and fight our family. It's that is the rule. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not what it is.
Well,
but I
seems like I will not be. It seems like I will not be visiting UK. It's like $10,000 for a round trip to UK.
Oh yeah, no, that's not good.
Not including all your PCR tests.
Right. Well, hello there, Emmy.
Yeah,
welcome from the Frosty Discord to Geeky's podcast.
Boxing Day.
I don't know. You're married to an American, Nathan. Do Americans have a version of Boxing Day?
No, the 26th is just back to normal. It's just the day after Christmas, yeah. So, their big day, the one that they really put all the effort into, is Thanksgiving usually, unless you're one of the collection that basically refuses to celebrate that day. I like to call them honorary Brits.
I'd like to call them Karens.
Yeah. But that's the day that's big family, and then. But yeah,
because it's like two Christmas dinners.
I mean, I enjoy the fact that I get to celebrate Thanksgiving over here. Then we have Christmas, and then we have Boxing Day. So it's just it's quite a lot of fun. Boxing Day, at least when I was growing up, was the day that we spent with our extended family. and Christmas Day was with just the family that you're born to, so you'd just be your parents and your siblings.
Yeah.
But as we've grown older, Boxing Day is just also me, the wife, and the pets, as is Christmas. And you know what? It's been like that for about 6 years now, and I kind of like it because it's just quiet, and it
Yeah.
means I don't have to worry about anyone. The downside is I'm also the chef of the family, so I'm the one who's in the kitchen cooking everything. So that's also
I
fun.
have to say, yeah, like I don't know about obviously we're young single things and like childless millennials, but Frosty, you have a kid. Like how magical is Christmas when you have a kid?
Well, I remember when he was about 2 years old. That was last year, December. We were busy setting up the tree and everything. We got up at like 5 o'clock in the morning because
No thanks.
he used to like mess with the tree and everything, and so we woke up at 5, hustled like freaking rats to get the Christmas tree up with all the gifts and everything. We popped it up in a corner. We opened the door quietly, let him wake up at his own pace and everything. Let him walk through. You guys just had to see the little face light up. It was just the highlight of the morning.
So
It was
cute.
worth waking. It was worth waking up 5 o'clock in the morning for.
Oh, that's what it's about, man. That's the Christmas feeling.
That is that. Yeah. Now we just got the pets, but my favorite thing about our pets, especially Remus, who's hiding somewhere behind me, he really loves unwrapping presents. It's his favorite thing to do on Christmas Day. So we purposely wrap stuff up that he can just tear apart and have a lot of fun with. Sometimes it's just additional empty boxes, but it just means that he has a load of fun. And then there's empty boxes, and the cats are like, "Yeah, we can just dive in these and play with the bits of paper that the dog's torn up everywhere."
Because cats love to play with those little bits. I mean, I've seen cats tear up toilet paper so they could just play with it.
Yeah.
And then some of the owners make them pick it up by like taking their front paws and like making them pick up the toilet paper. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, it's a cat. It's not going to learn its lesson.
It's not going to learn its lesson. Like, the first thing that you learn once you've got cats is there is no point buying them fancy toys and all the rest of it, because their favorite toy is trash and empty boxes. So you just buy cardboard boxes and just chuck your crumpled up receipts at them, and they're going to be happy for hours.
Or get like one of those huge cardboard round cardboard rolls, and they just stick their head in it and they just swing it around because they can't get their head out for the first 3 seconds, and it's just disaster.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So one thing that I've been noticing over the years with the Christmas films is the genres that have intertwined into the Christmas genre. So we've got action and Christmas, from things like, technically Jingle All the Way is a kind of action superhero Christmas film. We've got, your classic Hallmark style Christmas film, which your rom-coms are there, the dramas are there as well.
Yeah.
And now we've got horror with things like Krampus and the new film on Netflix. I think it's Elf or Elves, which is basically people living in a cabin. Turns out that their cabin's been built on an elf inhabitants, and the elves start attacking the people. So it's an interesting one. I'm going to sit down and watch that at some point, but I have to watch any horror films. I have to pre-watch before the wife can watch to see is it too much or just enough. So yeah, what genre have we not seen a Christmas film in that you would like a Christmas film in? For me, I think I would really like to see like a science fiction Christmas movie, a Christmas in space thing, which there probably is like some B movie of, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually would agree with that. A sci-fi one or a fantasy theme one with like elves and something like Dungeons and Dragons or World of Warcraft with all the different creatures and stuff.
So
That would be very.
is
And
it Klaus has that kind of air to it, which is an animated one. And there's one that we watched, I think it was either this year or was it last year? Is it this year? Yeah, it was this year. There's a live action on Netflix, basically about a town who's basically lost all hope. All hope is gone in this town, and the king of the area basically sets out this mission of go find this magical elf town, and whoever comes back, I will give you something good. And it just turns into this classic like long adventure piece to find this elf town, and it's actually a Santa Claus origin story, and it's really freaking good. So yeah, I would say that kind of covers it all, because there's fighting, there's magic, all of that's in there. And yeah,
I think we should try and hit every genre with a Christmas film. I think we should have like a kung fu movie. I think we should have like a Martin Scorsese style gangster drama that's like 3 hours long. 3-hour Peter Jackson while we're at it.
I mean,
we should hit them all.
Come to think of it, there is actually a kung fu themed Christmas one. If you're looking at animated movies like Kung Fu Panda, it's like a short movie, but it's like a Christmas theme type of deal with Kung Fu Panda, where Jack Black plays in and everything like that.
That's pretty good.
I think every holiday should have like more films. I'm like, let's have more.
Something
more thematic,
I think that we definitely need is a Christmas movie starring The Rock.
Oh my god, yes. Oh, has he not done one? I'm sure he must have.
He may have. If he has, then I haven't seen it.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just too easy to imagine, but I feel like there's an image of like The Rock dressed up as like an elf or something somewhere. But that could be just because it's so easy to envision.
It could be.
Yeah, we should just try and have like holiday films of like all genres, because obviously there's more than just Christmas, and that's not me trying to like include everyone. That's just genuinely like I don't know very much about other holidays because everything is so Christmas centric. So I'm like, let's have a Hanukkah origin story for the Gentiles over here, or let's have like a fun little like let's have a Ramadan movie.
That could be pretty good.
I don't know.
I would also be up for seeing
every person can make that work for me.
A decent Yule movie as well. Go full pagan with it, and not the classic desire to use it for horror storylines, because that's just annoying. Also, why not do something on Kwanzaa? Like Kwanzaa was what, the 60s? But yeah, like it'd be nice to have something around either the origin of Kwanzaa or the rest of that story.
Let's have lots of holiday films.
Yeah. And not one which is all the holidays jammed into one.
More reasons to get off work, I say. Let's celebrate everything. Let's get off work. Let's just keep eating food, and let's just celebrate all the holidays.
Quite honestly,
more bank holidays, yes.
Okay. I don't know how it works up there in the UK, but here in South Africa, for different religions, like the Muslims, they have endless amounts of freaking holidays of their own that they want to celebrate, and they usually take leave for it.
Yep.
Because it's not an actual government-included holiday. So some of them will be getting unpaid leave, some of them will be taking actual paid leave. But yeah. It's just there are also quite a lot of holidays. Actually, let me go get my calendar quick and count how many public holidays we actually had. Hold on, let me just go grab my calendar.
More holidays for everyone.
I mean, we don't have enough public holidays, at least in England. But the joy is Scotland,
Correct. Oh.
Scotland and Wales do have slightly different public holidays.
So it was 1, 2,
We
3,
always
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
in
9.
Ireland we always have different bank holidays too, guys, and I get very confused whenever someone talks about holidays now.
Yeah.
We had about 3, 6, 9, 12 public holidays this year.
Okay, that's just a little bit more than what
Yeah,
we
that's
have, so that's not.
amount.
Yeah, that's not too
I
bad.
feel like everyone deserves that.
Mm.
Okay, we've just acquired information in the chat that Adam Sandler is in 3 Christmas movies, and I'm now trying to think which Christmas movies are those.
Also,
I think it was 8 Crazy Nights,
Jewish,
Mixed
isn't-
Nuts. Oh, sorry, Ellen.
like Adam Sandler is like he's very like he's Jewish and he's in 3 Christmas films, which I think is fantastic. Everyone get involved. But I'm like he did the Hanukkah song.
Yeah,
As a child, that's the first place I learned about Hanukkah was like the Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song. So I'm like, fair enough, Adam. Okay.
Yeah, the
That's,
3 Christmas movies that I know of is Blended, 8 Crazy Nights, and Mixed Nuts, or something like that.
Okay, I don't know any of those, so that's some
Hanukkah song is great.
educational stuff to go to.
I think Neil Diamond also covered it.
I think so, yeah. And also, it might have felt more to you, Emmy, because you are still in school. If I'm not crazy, if I'm not mistaken, so you still have the school holidays.
Yeah.
Technically, I've got school holidays now, but I have to work for them.
God, I
only-
miss
if only
just how
something
much
like-
time you got off for being like
In
in
school,
university
right?
or school. Oh.
It's like, why can't we have work holidays like they have school holidays? You know, just have work
Yeah.
work a term, get a holiday, work another term, get another holiday. You know, it's not like we have exams to write. We just have a lot of productive shit to do to
We just have
put our stuff into the economy. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, people would argue if you want those holidays, become a teacher. But the fact is, teachers don't actually get all that chunk of time off. They do get some enforced leave around those times, but for the most part, your lesson planning and catching up on any of the homework marking that was done and all this
Lesson
other
planning,
junk,
marking.
and going in for teacher training because that's always fun. So,
Yeah, fair play to teachers. That is a very hard job that I could never ever do.
So coming back on to topic, so we've talked
yes,
about
we are on
favorite
topic.
Christmas movie. We've talked about genres that we'd be interested in.
Kung Fu Christmas coming next year.
So
Kung Fu Christmas coming next year. Manifesting it.
Yes. Let's talk about some of the new Christmas movies. So I've talked about 8-Bit Christmas. I think that's a great film, and I recommend that for everybody to go and watch. Is there any other new Christmas movies that you guys have watched that you really, really liked?
I forget the name, but I recently watched the Dolly Parton Christmas movie that was released last year.
Last year's one, yeah, that was good.
Sublime.
Well,
Absolutely sublime.
as I
Just
mentioned
good.
in my favorite Christmas movie, The Grinch from 2018.
Yeah. So another one that I think it was this year. So I've talked about the new Santa Origin one, which I really liked. The new Home Alone is surprisingly good, and I was not expecting it to be good. It is actually part of the original Home Alone universe. So whereas 3, 4, 5 are completely like their own universe reboot nonsense, this one is fully connected. You've got McAllister Security Firm, which is run by Kevin. His brother rocks up as well in the film, and it's basically just a kind of modernization of what Home Alone 1 and 2 were. There is some like awkward nonsense to it because you don't have the clear-cut villain, but they are still like the bad guys in this film are still that comical nonsense that you had with the original duo. So it is good, but it's slightly different, which makes it stand on its own.
How I just saw the trailer and I heard Aisling B's English accent and I was like, oh no, Aisling.
I guess I've become climatized to Americans doing bad English accents.
But this is an Irish person doing a bad English accent.
Well, then
That's
I just
even
allow
worse.
that. I allow that one because it's clearly just taking the piss.
It's revenge.
Yeah,
Yes, just
absolutely.
Irish banter.
Okay, well, I'll give that a go because I just expected that to be rubbish.
Yeah.
But if you're saying it's good, I think it's worth a try. Another one,
it's
like
not,
this
it's
is
not better than
yeah.
1 and 2. And for me, Home Alone rankings is Home Alone 2, Home Alone 1, and now this Home Sweet Home Alone. And then we just forget that the other ones exist. They're that bad that they just don't exist.
Another one that's kind of more slightly in the drama / rom-com world is Last Christmas, which I think was actually released like 2-3 years ago, maybe pre-pandemic, because I remember seeing it in a cinema. And that's like very good up until kind of the end, and then I was like, there's a bit of an unexpected plot twist that kind of made it less enjoyable, but it's a really good, like really, really good film up until that point. So I can still recommend. Maybe you won't mind the twist as much as like I just don't like twists. I'm like, oh, you didn't set that up, you just twisted.
Yeah, I agree with those. And another thing, if you like films that are so bad they're good, or in that sort of close range, the Netflix Christmas verse, it like just this like genius concept that they've
like,
done.
So, is that like the Princess Switch and stuff?
Yeah. So they are good. They're fun. They're cheesy and corny as hell. They are also bad. They're bad films, but they're still fun to sit and watch. But what I've liked is that across all of these Christmas verse ones, there are references either to the country, from like Princess Switch, or you will see one of the films playing on the TV of one of the other Netflix Christmas verse films. So like develop that it's there's this like multiverse concept going on with it.
A bit like the Toy Story, like like when you get little Easter eggs from other films.
Yeah, it like that, but it's a little bit more in the way that Netflix has been trying to do it. And yeah, no, they're fun. They're fun to watch. There's quite a few of them, so it is now like a binging session. And the third one in the Princess Switch, I think that came out this year. And it continues the cheesiness, but the fact that it's Hudgens that's like the main star across most of this Christmas verse just makes it all that extra bit of fun, because it's just no, that's another bunch I'd recommend.
Well, I'd still stick with my recommendation of the Grinch. I do remember watching Nightmare Before Christmas, give or take 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, I enjoy both of those. So I'm like a bit of a 50-50 type of guy, with like 50% must be lighthearted, 50% must have that like little bit of a dark humor.
Yeah.
Just like completely. It's like it can't be too much of this, can't be too much of that. Okay, has to be a fine line.
Yeah, I completely agree there. Although dark humor is a something I can't get enough of. So moving on then, what would you say makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie, or what is the needed ingredients to be a Christmas movie?
Let's start with ladies first.
I think, like, even though Christmas is a very like commercial, materialistic time, it feels that like most Christmas films need to counteract that message, which is quite ironic because obviously Christmas films are very much about making money most of the time, but usually there's a good heart, so we let them. So I think there's always a bit like, oh, you got so wrapped up in like having the perfect Christmas or getting this for Christmas or trying to get your kid this toy for Christmas because that's what they wanted. But actually, Christmas is about family and spending time together and like being a good person and things like that. So I think that is like, if you want a very traditional Christmas film, that is kind of like the heart of it. But I guess it can vary. So that's just talking thematically. Obviously, you've got like your very like traditional, like when you think of a Christmas film stuff, like there's Santa, there's red, white, and green stuff, there's reindeer, there's elves, there's like,
Don't forget the
Yeah.
candy
snow
cane.
everywhere, even though like a lot of us grew up with no snow during Christmas.
Yeah, no. Apart from when I lived in America for the whole of 1 year in the middle of a blizzard, I don't remember many snowy Christmases at all. Like unless you live north, like quite far north in the UK, you don't see snow. And down here in London, because we're in like a little dip, we're technically below sea level in most of our area. Nah, it'll become rain before it gets to you, so it's kind of sucks.
Frosty, ironically, has Christmas in summer because he's in his
Exactly.
Yeah. So that must be always fun.
It's a hot Christmas, I love spending Christmas in my underwear or very short sleeve pajamas.
Christmas
On
on the
that
beach.
note, so in the northern hemisphere, obviously we have the cheesy Christmas jumpers. Do you therefore have cheesy Christmas T-shirts?
Yes and no. I have not personally seen it, but I have heard of people having it, probably like custom made or something. But cheesy Christmas clothing here is not all that popular, as far as I know. Because a huge thing in South Africa among the mixed race culture and a whole different other types of cultures, it's all about status. And you got to have like the newest shit ever. You got to have the Nike shoes or the Jordans, and you got to have like relay jeans or the Nike track suits, like stuff that'll cost you an arm and a leg. You have to have, even though you put your credit overdue for the next half a year, and you only eat dry bread for the next year and a half, say, because that's how stupid some of them are. No offense, Amy, but that's just the truth.
So basically, they're missing the message of Christmas here, which is it's not supposed to be about the gifts.
I mean, even before Christmas, they'll spend. Yes, I mean, even before Christmas, they'll spend that hilarious amount of money on a credit card in a store, and they'd have this like brand new clothes, and they don't even earn half of what they are wearing.
Right. That's just
so. It's a whole thing about like status for them.
To debt. Just don't overspend at Christmas if you can. Try to chill out about that a little bit. Don't go into debt as much as you can. There's some life advice.
Yeah, I think that's good life advice.
Yeah, my actually funny enough, Ellen, to add to yours.
Try not to spend all of it in one place.
Yeah. Funny enough, Ellen, to add to your message of like don't overspend. Before I moved to the Cape Town area in South Africa, I used to grow up in a little small town of George, like 400 kilometers away from Cape Town. Before I moved to Cape Town, my grandfather told me, remember this, cash is king. Do not waste your life with credit. Those were the wise words that's been given to me.
I'm going to write a South African Christmas story in the height of a summer heat wave, and it's going to be about a grandfather who gives sage advice about not overspending at Christmas.
I like the sound of that. That could be something that would be nice to be turned into a short film.
It's also going to involve kung fu.
But please, when you say kung fu movie, not that like cheesy Chinese kung fu movies where they talk and their lips still go even though they finish talking.
Oh, that's just dubbing.
Yeah, that
That's
bad lip syncing.
bad dubbing.
So that's an essential part of the kung fu movie. I'm sorry, I'm not moving on that.
Yeah, that's just
And
because
like they jump and they just fly around like whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah. It's going to be a
Oh,
grand-
Merry Christmas! Now have a dragon kick for gift.
It's going to be a grandfather, just doing kung fu.
Mhm.
He like kung fu chops the credit card out of your hand.
So I'm basically now envisioning a South African Karate Kid movie,
Oh,
but a
Jesus.
Christmas film.
No, that... Okay, hold on. Let me get you a little skit that I'm just gonna make up on the fly here.
I'm calling the studios now.
Okay. Okay. So, get this picture. In a supermarket where a guy is about to spend over $5,000 in Christmas gifts, and he's about to swipe out his credit card, and a guy called Bra Joseph comes in and he karate chops the credit card out of his hand like, "Nee, brother, wait, wat maakt sy hier so? Nee, 5,000 is te veel, man. Wat gaat die aan?"
Yeah,
Something along those lines.
I think we can make this work. Santa
I
Claus.
think
will
it
be
works.
by the juicer or
And
someone.
Bra Joseph will have the Christmas hat like Nate, and you'll have the Christmas jacket and the black boots and everything. But the only difference with the belt is his black belt is going to be a karate belt.
Oh
And clearly, at the end of it, we make the mild suggestion that he is in fact Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that classic aspect of like this person who's doing good and being nice and helping people out is in fact Santa because they're the old person in the film.
Yeah.
There we go. Bra Joseph, the Secret Santa movie.
Kung Fu Christmas coming to cinemas next year because we manifested it. There we go.
I like it.
Also,
That sounds
if
like a good plan.
you know of a Kung Fu Christmas film, please do let us know.
Yes,
I will
yes. You can message us on Twitter at GeekyN8 or at Frosty RSA, or is it RSA Frosty?
RSA Frosty.
At RSA Frosty, and then it's just at LN Kruger, right?
Yeah, the links are in the YouTube video below, or in the description below for those on the YouTubes.
Yep.
I'm very good on Twitter when I remember that I have it and I actually use it.
So putting us back into what are the necessary things in a Christmas film?
Yeah.
I mean, obvious statement here, but Christmas decorations. There's always Christmas decorations in every Christmas film, which I do like to just see some of the stuff, including the extreme ideas of like how to decorate for Christmas, which instantly just makes me think of like Deck the Halls and just a crazy house scheme.
To like sum it up, what you're saying is what makes a good Christmas movie for you is the ambiance and the background, like the setup of the Christmas movie and the background and the ambiance.
So this is actually something probably good to talk about briefly and bring us back then to Christmas stuff. This is actually a thing I notice a lot in all of my viewing is I am more attracted to special effects, background set design, the lighting, all of that is the stuff that I just seem to pick up, which is probably why for a good while I used to do lighting and sound within theatre, although that was more A-level university, a little bit of fringe helping out, but not professionally. But yeah, that's kind of where that all like technical stuff comes from for me, and that's what I end up picking up and noticing more.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's also that sort of aspect of how my brain seems to work is I can walk into a room and pick up the details of a room that I'm in and be able to leave it and know where stuff is in that room, and it's just like, and yeah, that's just It's just how my brain is. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna look at all the unnecessary information, but that also makes me really enjoy when there is Easter eggs hidden in the background of videos, because I will spot them, and it just kind of makes me feel like, I like that. That's nice. Thank you.
What's the
Quite
prize?
honestly, yeah, when I watch movies, most of the time my brain just switches off and just sitting there like a brain dead animal, like, yeah.
I wish I could do that. I never switch off. So-
It's an art that I have mastered.
Nice. Okay, yeah, and I see in the chat that we've got snow. Snow is a necessity in Christmas films. I would be able to argue against that for the fact that there are a couple of Christmas films that are based on beaches and summer resorts, and they're still Christmas films.
Yeah. Snow wouldn't make a Christmas movie though, because a lot of countries and islands can't produce snow because of the warmer climates and warmer temperatures that are naturally included in said locations.
Yeah.
As for me, I think what would make a Christmas movie would be Santa. I'm just kidding. Well, I would just say it has to bring a good message of that possessions aren't everything, and it's what you make of the day that counts.
To further extend that one, every Christmas film I've seen has always had some moral message hiding in it, be it about family or about financial management or about being selfless over being selfish. There's always that like moral code to what makes a Christmas film. Even in the horror stuff and all of that, they still have that eventual message of you should be doing good. You know, even in like Krampus is about, you know, he goes out and he takes out people who are being naughty. So if you're good, you're safe. And yeah, no, that's something key, and that is something that we can talk about when we discuss the various films and if they are or are not Christmas movies, which I think might be what we'll hop onto in a second, unless there's anything else we want to add to what makes a Christmas movie.
Is this going to be like a quick fire? Like, is it a Christmas film? Is it not a Christmas film?
I think it's going to be
probably
like a debate of sorts.
Bit of a discussion in a way. I think it will end up being a debate. We will certainly encourage the chat to join in that debate with us, though. Yeah, should we hop onto that part then, or is there anything else we want to? Okay, so
I think let's hop onto it.
We will work our way up to the classic debate topic, but I think we should start with: is A Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas film? For me, I always say it's a Christmas film. Not only is it in the title of the film, but the majority of it is based around Christmas land and the idea of what Christmas is, and it's exploring what is Christmas all throughout the film.
Yeah, I mean, it's a guy who is all about Halloween, and he is in his own world that is based off Halloween and scary stuff, who wants to discover Christmas and explore what Christmas is. And how can that not be seen as a Christmas movie? That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's about misunderstanding what the meaning of Christmas is, and kind of like suddenly taking on this culture that he has no real idea about,
colonialism,
and making an absolute games of it, and then realizing like, oh, okay, it's not what I thought. I've it's been right in front of my face this whole time. Mm-hmm. I would agree that it is a Christmas film, but maybe kind of has a much different meaning than a lot of other Christmas films. But you can you could say it's also a Halloween film because like most of it's spent in Halloween Town. But I would land more on the side of like it's a Christmas film. But I'm more than happy to watch it at Halloween. So
yeah, we watch it at any point between Halloween and Christmas because it's basically that perfect in between.
Right down the middle. Say it's a Thanksgiving
Correct.
film. Let's just split it.
It is both.
nothing-
It's a Halloween Christmas film. Okay, done.
That's so, I feel like that's not even like heated though.
Christmas-ween. It's a Christmas-ween movie.
Halloween.
Halloweenmas.
Halloween.
I like Christmas-ween more.
On that note, I have no doubt that Tim Burton, if you were ever to be invited to a Tim Burton Christmas, it probably is Halloweenmas. It's probably just like the most creepiest Christmas decks you could imagine. There's no way he's not living in a house that's been made to look like a Gothic castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just no chance. I would be disappointed if he just lived in a normal house.
So would I. Same with Stephen
Heartbreak.
King. Like, I'd be very disappointed if Stephen King just lived in a normal house.
I just imagine that Stephen King lives in like the Amityville house or something like equivalent.
Or it actually is the Shining house.
Yeah, just the big
Like,
like Shining
he's-
hotel.
He's just in the ballroom bar area, you know, writing his books, just chatting to the ghost bartender. And
Yeah, if it were a house like in The Shining, I just turn my ass right around and be like, nope.
He just pets his dog Cujo, drives his car Christine, and life's very merry for Stephen King.
Yeah.
It's just sunshine and rainbows.
Sunshines and
the-
rainbows.
The
King.
next Christmas, not Christmas movie is Iron Man 3. So it takes place at Christmas. It also has a message hidden within it. And Kevin Feige has also declared it as a Christmas film. But, and this is the funniest part, Disney
but.
Plus has a section for all of their Christmas movies. And while Die Hard is in that section, Iron Man 3 is not. So Disney Plus technically says it's not a Christmas film, while Kevin Feige says it is. Which is interesting.
For me, I get that he says it's a Christmas film, right? And Disney Plus says it ain't. For me, it isn't as well, because you don't really mix. Usually, you don't mix your superhero films with Christmas, right? However, superhero movies have their own whole different meanings. So I get the way where he thinks that it is like a Christmas film.
Yeah.
Because there is like that strong meaning towards being selfless instead of selfish. Because I mean, Tony Stark's characteristics, if you look at the comic book references and all the other movie references that Robert Downey Jr. has been nailing every single time, that Tony Stark has been a very selfish person because he's been rich and he's been thinking highly of himself. And with all these experiences that he had, especially with the near death when he's been captured by those terrorists after testing out his weapon system, since then he has slowly but surely become more and more selfless. And I think that is the whole thing that they were trying to prove in Iron Man 3. That is why they were trying to make it seem like some sort of Christmas movie. However, in my opinion, it's more about the selflessness over selfishness lesson in the movie.
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
For me, it's not really a Christmas movie. It's more of a very
Is it
inspirational movie.
Yeah. Is it enough for like a film to be set at Christmas to be categorized as a Christmas film? Like,
No.
is that enough?
I don't think it is. I think you need
No.
to be pushing more. So the Hawkeye TV series that's been on Disney Plus recently is set at Christmas. But it also has, throughout the entire series, the running theme is Clint Barton needs to get home to his family for Christmas while dealing with a major hero problem of crime and dealing with parts of his past. So I would say Hawkeye is a Marvel Christmas series because it meets everything, in my opinion, of what you need to be a Christmas piece. While Iron Man 3 doesn't achieve any of those messages, it just achieves the continuation of the Iron Man selfless arc that's been going on since the first film, instead of being really focused on a Christmas message throughout that film. So I don't think Iron Man 3 myself is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think I do see where the Christmas aspect comes in, where I think it was in the beginning of Iron Man 3 where I can't remember that girl's name, Pepper Potts,
Pepper
something
Potts.
like that.
Yeah, that's it.
That she gave Tony Stark that old chess piece that Tony Stark had first,
Yes.
and it was engraved, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. In that sense, the sense of giving, which is also like one of the things about Christmas, but like that side of Christmas that people usually don't agree with because it's all about possessions.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people feel like gifts are part of Christmas, and the fact that Pepper Potts has given that as a gift to Tony Stark, they think, oh, she's giving him a gift on Christmas Day, so it must be a Christmas movie. Like, you know what? Take that sword and shove it right up where the sun don't shine. It's not Christmas. It's about the selfless arc that Pepper Potts is appreciating.
It's possibly like, not that it's a Christmas film, but like Christmas is part of like the tapestry that is telling the story, that like, because you associate Christmas with like being charitable and generous and things like that, that it kind of, it has that subliminal thing of like Tony's becoming like a kinder, more, philanthropic person. So in that case, I think Christmas is like, it's more of a tool than it is the actual like
exactly
of the film.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel about Iron Man 3 is Christmas is a tool to the story rather than the story being the Christmas message.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think
I've not seen Iron Man 3 because I just can't keep up with all the Marvels. There's just too much Marvel. So much Marvel. I can't watch it all. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't help myself. I
No,
watch everything for it. Okay, so I guess our next one then is the big one that is endlessly debated. The debate is still going on today for some reason I can't fathom. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I say it is. I will explain why, but I would like to hear from everybody else first before I start explaining and trying to convince you otherwise.
I have a slight tangent on this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what rubs me up the wrong way about this debate is that like I feel like someone on like a TV show or on the internet like invented this argument, and now we all have to have it. And I'm like, I'm so tired about this. Just watch it at Christmas if you want it at Christmas. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so Ellen is just given up with this part of the debate. But Frosty, what do you think?
From what I remember watching Die Hard, I want to say that it's a 50-50 for me. Because I mean, it as far as I can remember, the movie played like a couple of days before Christmas, and Bruce Willis was out trying to save said family members that has been kidnapped before the date.
Mm-hmm.
And
so far so Christmassy.
It's like, it's mostly when you think Bruce Willis, you think action. So you don't really think Christmas when you look at Bruce Willis. And it's hard for me to distinguish whether it was a Christmas movie or not. Because it's a whole lot of thing about selflessness and family and this and that. But there was also a lot of shooting and a lot of explosions and a lot of like...
Yeah, it's that
bang,
whole how do you fit action and Christmas together? But you have the message is about family in this one. It's about being there for your family. In this case, it does have that added no matter what, and I'm not really a fan of be there for your family no matter what, because that can lead to toxic relationships. But we'll ignore that because it's Christmas time, and I don't really want to go into that part of it. But
yeah,
you know,
I was thinking about the toxic relationship because it's a really controlling trait, or it's like a thing of like you want to avoid conflict and keep everyone happy and wada.
Yeah.
Which makes the person doing said selfless act feel very depressed afterwards because they feel like the person doesn't appreciate it enough.
Exactly. So, opening of Die Hard, the piece is the classic trying to get home for Christmas story. So you've got Bruce Willis. He's in the plane. He's flying to try and get home, and he rocks up at the Christmas party that technically his ex-wife is at, and that's got your classic Christmas party, office Christmas party nonsense going on. So far that is, it's like so many Christmas movies out there. Then obviously,
say, in case anyone's misunderstood me, I do land in the camp that it is a Christmas film. I just think the argument's been done to death. Also, Die Hard is great. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely great.
It's a good movie.
It's a good film.
Although I do feel that the film is also an excuse for Bruce to just lose clothes throughout. Like, there was clearly somebody involved there who was just like, we're gonna make him lose clothes so that more women come and watch the film.
Yeah, like the women would just sit there like, oh my god, Bruce Willis titties.
His clothes are like the advent calendar, you get a new thing off every, I don't know.
This takes me back to a university Halloween party where one of my friends came as I can't remember the actual character name, but he came as him, and throughout the night disappeared and returned with less clothes and more like roughed up pieces and like fake blood and all of that, until obviously it got to the point where he was just in the vest and no shoes. I was just like, okay.
I just turn around and go home and get some pants on.
Yeah,
I will always respect someone who commits to the bit. Always respect that.
Absolutely. But yeah, and then obviously at the end of it, where he saved the day, obviously the message in there is still about family. He successfully gets everybody back to their families for Christmas.
I get the whole it's about family, but it's also to a point where it doesn't start becoming toxic.
Yes.
I also think there's like similar to like the Iron Man argument, but maybe more Christmassy, is that Christmas is kind of, it's just part of what makes, like, what's driving the emotional stakes as opposed to being like the point of it. Like, it's not a Christmas film where like Christmas is like the whole reason. Like, it's the whole reason. The terrorists are the main driving force here for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But watch a Christmas, like, why not?
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's. I don't think we need to actually.
They're not Christmassy at all, but are somehow Christmas films. Do you know what I mean?
Ooh,
yeah, it's
Harry Potter films are all played around Christmas in this part of the world.
Yes, that's a good point. I mean, obviously,
Wizard of Oz, Sound of Music, all those kind of old musicals are always played around Christmas, even though they've not really anything to do with Christmas. So in my brain, old Christmas things.
Is that because of when they released? So, like, I know Harry Potter, the first one, was released around Christmas. You've got the piece which is over Christmas in the film, and so because it's magic and fantasy, that's gained its relation to being on TV at Christmas time. But yeah, I don't know about the others. Sorry?
Sound of Music, though, doesn't have that.
No.
Not even snowy. They live in Switzerland or Austria. Austria.
Yeah, I'm not sure with that one.
I think it's Austria.
I think they just put it on because it's like 3 hours long, and they're like, this will preoccupy families for 3 hours, maybe. Because a
that's
lot
a
of
good
Christmas
excuse. Yeah.
preoccupying the family.
Just maybe. Just maybe.
Are you looking it up?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because there are a few that fit into that bracket that are on at this time of year, but they don't fit into what we
First
watch every Christmas. So
Why is Sound of Music considered a Christmas movie? First thing on Google, so it was.
Okay, so people are wondering.
Yeah, because families traditionally spend more time together during the holidays, networks would air family-friendly films in the lead up to Christmas. All right, that question's answered. Moved on.
Okay, basically an excuse to just waste time, but now there's so many Christmas films that it doesn't need to be the case. Like,
Maria von Trapp. Need her.
Okay, well, I think we've covered everything.
We've covered the topics.
So I guess before we end, I at least between the end of November and the run up to Christmas, we basically just start watching Christmas movies non-stop. And we have a collection now which are like annual must watches. So that's Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, although I wish the Trump scene didn't exist in it. Deck the Halls, Jingle All the Way, 8-Bit Christmas has now been added to it, Santa Claus. We now also watch Bad Santa and Nativity. And obviously A Muppet's Christmas Carol. And then we also watch on Christmas Eve, these are like our Christmas Eve movies, is A Christmas Story and White Christmas and what's its name? It's a Wonderful Life. That's it. It's a Wonderful Life, which is 75 years old today. Like
God.
It doesn't even feel like we've had movies for that long, but we have. Like,
I've never watched It's a Wonderful Life, and it feels like one of those films that like is quintessential like Christmas viewing.
Oh, it is so good. I'm thinking of going to the cinema Christmas Eve to see it because they've got a 75th anniversary showing at the cinema. I'm just like, it would actually be nice to go and watch this film on the big screen and just enjoy popcorn and that. But obviously, with the new surge of COVID,
yeah, especially with the Omicron.
Yeah, I mean, I'm boosted. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm also
but
fully vaccinated, but still,
are they doing?
can't be too safe.
Are they doing booster shots now in South Africa, or is it just the two shots?
We only at the moment because there's still apparently quite a backlash on the Johnsons and Johnsons.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
we're still with the Pfizer at the moment, but from what I understand from most medical experts in South Africa,
oh wait, yeah, you guys got COVID quite bad, and a lot of people actually got COVID. So I think you got natural immunity spread across the country, didn't you?
There's a huge instance of the Delta variant in South Africa.
Yeah, there's a huge infection rate of the Delta variant, actually.
Virology, systems in place, so they're like really good at like identifying viral stuff. So Omicron didn't originate there, but they spotted it first. So don't be mean to the people of Africa.
Exactly.
Yeah,
no doubt it probably originated somewhere in Europe.
We're just trying to do our part to help the world, getting rid of COVID.
Yeah.
Don't hate on us.
As this isn't Christmassy, apart from I also agree, don't hate on South Africa.
Anywhere.
No, don't hate on anywhere.
I mean,
exactly.
Our economy is.
Maybe England. You can hate on England.
Politicians are bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's not an exclusively South African thing.
Not anymore, that's for sure. God. Again, We should be talking about positive things, not
Peace,
depressive aspects. So
peace and love.
Yeah,
That's
I was just gonna be like, don't hate on South Africa. Our economy is shit. Our politicians are bad, but hey, we got a beautiful country to look at. The
so
mountains, the
beautiful.
beaches.
It is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. For real.
For realsies. I
The
swear.
sunrises and sunsets are better than any you've ever seen in your life. Also,
Exactly.
elephants are gorgeous.
Yes.
So there we go.
I've never actually been up close with elephants. I mean, there's so many places that I can go to do it. I just never had the time to do it.
Oh, because I'm from
that's
up the north in South Africa. Ironic.
Ah, you up to that?
I,
You're there.
I've seen the wild animals.
awesome.
Lovely.
Those all sound like great conversation topics for next year. Our next podcast, we are going to be talking about origin stories. So that should be quite an interesting topic. That will be at some point in January, hopefully.
Hopefully, we're very bad at organizing. So
Yes, we're all busy people, working jobs, family, studying as well for Ellen, which is always good. But this has been quite nice for me because my job that I was in as managerial role has technically now ended, and when I go back to work in January, I start a new role as a technical business analyst and data analyst. So
that's very
I'm actually really excited because of that change. It feels like the year's ended properly for me, if that makes sense.
I'd say that makes sense.
new year, new you.
Yeah, definitely new year, new me in that aspect. But yeah, no, it means that I
Oh.
can just relax right now and I don't need to worry about anything.
New Year's hot takes.
So
Well, yeah, I would say I agree with the new year, new me thing. I'm gonna start since I've basically given up on the programming aspect of studies. I'm gonna see if I can get into a course of doing a course of electrics, like electrician courses or carpenter
those are good.
courses, something more along my comfort line of work. Something I've been doing the last 4 years. Something that I feel like I enjoy because I do like working with my hands. I mean,
I like it.
I've been like today before the podcast actually started. I was speaking to Ellen saying I redid all the lights in our houses. I had to add some wire to the existing wire because some of them were too short. And I have finished my kid's bedroom of removing all the parquet flooring, which I'm going to get laminated flooring for.
Nice.
As well as our room, which I'm going to start tomorrow. Get all the old skirting off, and yeah, it's been busy. It's been busy.
That's really cool. I have no real plans for next year.
Microphones. There's one.
Ooh, nice. I think mostly for me, it's I just want to get the channel running in a sort of fluid way. Just get my life organized into some nice patterns. So that's my aim. Also,
Is that a New Year's resolution?
kind of. Also, there's some writing I've been wanting to do for a while, and over the last year, I've started writing, D&D one shots and like short adventures for that, which has encouraged me to actually try and write something bigger. So I am hopefully going to be able to find my random scraps of paper from an essay I wrote back in 2006, which was in a physics course where we looked at why Einstein went and created relativity. And it was a really interesting piece of research that I did. So I'm going to try and compile all that research that I did, plus some additional research, and see if I can write a accessible physics history book, which might also just turn into me writing instead a play or some other piece, because it's actually quite an interesting story and there's a lot going on there. and his span between creating Relativity, it overlaps with Rise of Nazis and all of that part, and therefore his escape from Germany to America, which I think is all interesting pieces that could add to more than just looking at the science piece. So yeah, I'm going to try and write that. So we'll see how
good
that
luck
goes.
with that. That sounds like quite a piece that you're about to write.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So
what about yourself, Adam?
Study something that he enjoys. You're going to write like a book potentially once you get like life in some sort of pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Good resolutions. I haven't come up with any resolutions. Try to keep passing all my course modules.
I think that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a big
vibes.
fan of resolutions because I find if I'd like try to say I'm definitely going to do this next year, I won't do it. So I'm trying now to just generally look at short-term goals that I can create, and so like this one is just simply start it, like no deadline on when it's done, just to start it and have fun, and yeah, that's kind of the idea. So okay,
Awesome.
Yeah. I haven't got anything else to talk about.
Nothing here.
Well, hello there, Edison and Kristen Love. We got someone in the comments here saying hello.
Yeah, hi to our watchers and everyone who's been commenting. Thank you for everybody that's come along tonight. It's
Are there any questions or anything we should respond to? I'm not looking at the chat because I forget to pull it up. So
no, I mean it's good to leave the chat till the end. There wasn't actually any questions apart from Loz of the Big Retro Show did ask, is Die Hard a Xmas movie? Which
we discussed
discussed,
which we have to.
and then we talked about a few of the various Christmas films. So no, there's no direct questions in the chat for us. So yeah, no, thank you for everybody that's come and watched. If you have been listening at one of the various podcast apps, thank you for joining us there. If you do want to come and see our lovely faces, you can come and check us out over on YouTube, where we do these podcasts live, and you can interact with us in the comments. And yeah, until next time, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year.